Good morning all of you. In today's videos we will understand what are the various methods to handle the deadlock. Basically there are four methods to handle the deadlock. The first is deadlock ignorance, second is deadlock prevention, third is deadlock avoidance, it is also called Banker's algorithm, and the fourth is deadlock detects and recovery. Let us understand one by one. The first is deadlock ignorance. While understanding the deadlock ignorance, is it not seems that it's very funny that after reading a video after video, we are saying that ignore deadlock. It's obvious. We find that there are many big operating systems such as Windows and Linux. These are using on this principle, deadlock ignorance. Now the question comes, why these so big companies they are using deadlock ignorance? It's all because deadlock occurs once in a 4 or a 5 years. Understand? After such a long time it happens. That's why we simply say that deadlock ignorance, because when we are going to make a code for handling the deadlock, it will create an extra burden and take extra memory and extra everything for its code. As we know that operating systems deal with memory management, disk management, and also many things it's all does. And we are adding one more code, such a huge and lengthy code for deadlock handling. We find that our speed and efficiency is decreasing. That's why we simply do that, ignore the deadlock. Now the second method is deadlock prevention. Deadlock prevention, it is just a vaccination we provide. As we know that in a vaccination we provide vaccination prior to occurring of disease. In a similar way, we will do and prevent from the deadlock. As we know that there are 4 conditions for occurrence of deadlock. First is mutual exclusion. Second is no preemption, third is hold and wait, and fourth is circular wait. These are the entire necessary conditions for occurrence of deadlock. Now for removing the deadlock, we just make any one's false or entire false. We can just remove the deadlock. So in prevention we will learn that making a false of any one of them. For making a mutual exclusion false making mutual exclusion, what we do in this, we will make resource shareable. But again there is a problem arises that every resources are not shareable, just like printer and typewriter. Now the second, for making a no preemption false, the simple thing we can do is whatever the number of processes are present, each of them give a quantum number of time. Let's suppose this is P1, P2 and P3. These are the 3 processes we are having. Each of them we are providing 2 seconds providing resources. Now if within this short span of time it is completing its work, then it's good. If not completing, then the resources will be preempted and it will be given to this P2. In a similar way, this P3 will also get. Now when P3 will complete, again this P1 will get. In that way, in a sharing way and a preemption way, we find that they are completing their task and there is no deadlock occurring. So in this way, by giving a quantum number of time, we find that we can negotiate this no preemption. Now the third is hold and wait. For making hold and wait negotiation, just simply one thing though, that allocate entire number of resource, whatever the resources you are having, to any one process. And when the one process is completing its task, all resource. Completing its task, give it to the another resource. Here in this case we find that one is holding entire resource but not waiting for other ones. That's why it will complete its execution, and a similar way it will give it to the another, and another will also complete and keep on going. That's why the entire process will be completed. For negotiating circular wait, just do the things that is number all the resources that are present. Just like we are having present printer, CPU, scanner, and register. Number them all. This is first number, this is second number, third number, and the fourth number. You might be thinking why we have numbered them. We have numbered it all because of the process can request in increasing order. That means if this is process P1, this process P1 is requesting first, that is P2, this CPU. It's requesting CPU for its work. Now the next time it won't request for 1, means printer it can't request. For next time it have to request either a scanner or register. By this way we can avoid the circular wait. Now the third method for handling deadlock, that is deadlock avoidance. For understanding the deadlock avoidance, take 3 processes P1, P2 and P3, and we are having resource R is equal to 2. Number of resources we are having 2, and it has been given in the question that the minimum requirement for resource for each one process to complete their execution, that is 2. Now in this case we find that there are 2 cases arising. In first case we are providing 1 resource to this P1 and 1 resource to the P2. We are finding that the both of them need 1 resources to complete their execution. So simply we ignore that and we will avoid this case. And what we will do in this case, we will provide these both resources to this one. This is our deadlock avoidance. So for deadlock avoidance, we will check that for every resource, we will check that whether there is occurring deadlock or not. In detail we will understand in Banker's algorithm. We avoid this through the Banker's algorithm. We will solve in next video in that about the Banker. Now the fourth method for handling deadlock, that is deadlock detection and recovery. It's become quite tougher for operating system because in a first move it will detect and in second move it will recover. So it's become quite time taking and also reduces the efficiency. In this process what we do, first we do kill the process. We kill the process which are causing our which are causing our deadlock. So we kill that process. And the second what we do, that whatever the resources are being allocated to that resource which we have killed, we give it to the another resource. So resource preemption we do. Here are the 4. Up to here we have studied the 4 various methods to handle the deadlock. Now in the next video we will solve few problems regarding this deadlock avoidance and few numerical on this entire up to the deadlock handling methods we have learned. So thank you very much and be ready to solve that question.